Hey guys, what's going on? It's Tyson Brown here, and in today's video I want to share with you simple ways I managed to lose 9 kilos in 4 months. I didn't take any special supplement tricks, I didn't do anything magical, all I did was a few simple key things that helped me get amazing results, right? Now, the first thing that I focused on when it came to losing 9 kilos was the nutrition. Nutrition is going to trump everything, I promise you that. If you're not getting the right nutrition in your body, you're not going to lose weight. It's all about how many calories and micronutrients and macronutrients you're consuming in the day, which is going to determine what happens to your body. Now, what I did first was I just calculated how many calories I'm going to need every day. And there's a few different apps out there. You can just look up Calorie Calculator, how many calories do I need, all those type of things, and then you can punch in the numbers yourself. That way you're going to get a good estimate of how many calories you're burning during the day and how much you're going to need every day in order to lose weight. And what I did is I actually went higher than what most calculators recommended. Most calculators recommend that I eat about 17 to 1800 calories a day, but I was losing weight on 2200 calories because I was doing other things. I was keeping myself active, and I was also manipulating the type of macronutrients I had in my diet. So macronutrients play a really big role in your diet when it comes to training, because especially with carbohydrate timing, when you have carbohydrates and the days you aren't training. Now, what my week looked like is a different set of macronutrients on different days. So on the days I did train, I had higher carbohydrates and lower fats. On the days I didn't train, I had higher fats and lower carbohydrates. Now, the reason I did this is because you don't need high carbohydrate diets when you're not training with weights. You're not going to need it because you're not going to be burning through all those carbohydrates. And depending on the job you have, you're not going to need a lot of carbohydrates during the day. If you're at a desk job, you're not going to be burning through a lot, so swap over to a higher fat diet instead. Higher fat's going to be a lot better because fat doesn't hold water, and carbohydrates holds 4 grams of water per gram of carbohydrate, right? So just reducing the carbohydrates you're having for the days you're not training is going to help you hold less water, which means you're going to be dropping weight just like that. So make sure that you give that an experiment if you want to try. That was one of the big things that I noticed, was eating less food during my off days too. So even though I had higher fat, I still had less calories than I usually would. So focusing on calories first, then looking at your macronutrients were two big important things. Another thing I did every day was weigh myself. Now, people say this makes you go crazy. However, when I weighed myself every morning, I could track where I was. I liked seeing that number. I like saying, okay, this is where I'm at. Oop, I've gone too much over. Look at the weight. The weight's starting to creep up. Then I can start reducing my calories again. So weighing myself every day was another thing I did just to make sure that I was staying on track. People say it's crazy. For some it is, but I tell my clients, if you want to know, if you like looking at the numbers and seeing your results, track your numbers every day. One other big component of my diet was intermittent fasting. Now, I'm someone who loves a lot of food. I always grew up eating whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. It would be Macca's, it would be Subway, meatball sandwiches, it would be pies and sausage rolls. Anything I pretty much wanted, I got every day. But because I could just, there was a corner store down the road, and that was a night owl, so I could get the frozen drinks, and there was all this crap I could eat, right? And I always liked the feeling of being full. So what I used to do was, I used to eat a lot of food all the time just so I could feel full, and I've always wanted that feeling. So I decided to try intermittent fasting, because that way I push back the amount of food I can eat, and I won't be able to eat as much. However, I still had that satisfied feeling that I want. So intermittent fasting, what I would do is usually fast for about 16 to 18 hours, which means I wouldn't eat from 8:30 p.m. until about 12:30 till 2:30 p.m. and then I would eat the rest of my meals. I always made sure I would eat, my first meal would be after my workout, and it would be high in protein and carbohydrates, because I wasn't using much energy during the rest of the day. Then when it came to training, that's when I knew I needed to have the carbohydrates and the protein, right? So if you're someone who struggles with eating all the time, try intermittent fasting and see how you go, because I can feel full all the time and I was still eating less calories than I usually would. Now they're the three big components of the diet, right? It was focusing on how many calories I was burning during the day, looking at my macronutrients and changing it up day to day, and also doing intermittent fasting. But, however, when it came to my diet too, I still got to enjoy the foods I love. I'm all about flexible dieting and tracking your food. So if you can track your food, what's going to happen is you're going to be able to eat chocolate. You're going to be able to eat whatever you want when you track your food, because if it's going to fit into your macronutrients for the day, you can eat it. It's as simple as that. I got to eat chocolate. I got to go out and eat Thai food. I got to go out and have whatever I wanted as long as it fit into my macronutrients for the day. A great app to use is myfitnesspal.com to be able to track that. Now let's talk about training. So my training was really simple because I wanted to experiment with this. I wanted to go against what everybody usually says, and everyone says, go do high repetitions, go do the bodybuilding type of work, and then do a lot of cardio, right? Well, I was like, you know what? I want to experiment with this. I want to prove to people that it's more about nutrition and sleep and things like that as opposed to the weight training. So what I did was I kept my weight training very minimal. I kept it 3 times a week, full body, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, or sometimes Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And all I did was I did 3 sets of 5 reps for exercises, 3 sets of 5 reps for squats, 3 sets of 5 sets for bench press. Bent over row, military press, very basic primal exercises that I did that were full body. It took me an hour to do 3 times a week, and that was all I did for weight training. It wasn't something crazy. It wasn't something like, it wasn't a high volume 5 days a week intense. It was just making sure I was keeping my strength, because that way I was keeping my muscle mass too. If you're keeping your strength on while you're working out and while you're losing body fat, you're going to be maintaining muscle mass. It's not about how many reps you can do. It's about if you can bench press 80 kilos when you're 75 kilos, and you can bench press 80 kilos when you drop down to 68 kilos, well, you know what's going to happen? You're going to be maintaining a lot of muscle mass and still be able to push out the same amount of weight, which means you've kept your strength, you've kept muscle mass, and you've cut effectively. You've kept a lot of muscle mass. So keep that in mind and focus more on doing strength training as opposed to just training high repetitions and getting a sweat up. And then cardio. Cardio I did only about 2 to 3 days a week, but every day I walked. I walked as much as I can. I kept my activity up. I would walk to work, I would walk home. I'd walk pretty much wherever I have to go. With cardio though, all I did was 2 high intensity sessions a week and then an occasional jog, or I would do 1 high intensity session a week and jogging. High intensity session took me 20 minutes. I would go to the hills and I would do 10 hill sprints. I would go on the bike and do intervals for 10 minutes. I would go and do sled pushes. It wasn't it didn't take up a lot of time. I just focused on doing the things that worked, not going crazy, not doing not doing cardio every single day, not having to jog for hours at a time. If you focus on nutrition first and then make sure your weight training's in place, you don't have to do a lot of extra cardio like everyone did. I wanted to do this diet and lose body fat because I wanted to also I wanted to go against conventional wisdom. Everyone says you got to do all these things. Well, what did I do? I still got to eat the foods I love. I still trained 3 full body sessions a week instead of doing higher repetitions. I did hit maybe once or twice a week and did some cardio, and that was it. If you focus on the key fundamentals and you focus, getting the right amount of sleep, getting the right amount of nutrition, and just training hard, you can lose weight. And as a result, as you guys can see on the photo, 9 kilos, side by side shot, it's a big difference, and it was just doing that. So, if you want to really get results, here's what you've got to do. Lose weight is start tracking your food. People think it's crazy, Tyson, why do you track your food every day? Because I'm committed to losing body fat, and I want to, I had a goal. So if you're committed, whether you want to lose body fat or gain muscle, whatever you want to do, track your food. Use MyFitnessPal, use a diary, use whatever you've got to do. Make sure you're tracking. Otherwise, you're not going to know. Number 2 is to make sure that you're actually doing some type of weight training. If you want to maintain muscle mass, you've got to do weight training, because otherwise, if you're just doing cardio, what's going to happen? You're going to lose weight, and you're going to lose you're not just going to lose body fat, you're also going to lose muscle mass because you're not using your muscle mass. And the third thing is to make sure you get enough sleep every day. 3 simple things: nutrition, weight training, and sleep. Also, I didn't use any supplements. The only thing I ever had was black coffee before my workout. I didn't have the green tea extract fat burners. I didn't have all that extra crap, because you do not need it. Keep it simple, stupid, and you're gonna be fine. So guys, that's the end of the video. That's my journey. I've lost 9 kilos. Now I'm gonna be updating you with what's going on next. If you liked the video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see all you guys in the next video. See ya.